Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Our first story today is about a future ships officer, a loud contractor, and a library full of nerds who decided enough was enough. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Local contractor cannot respect his community. This past winter, my brother was at the local library for about 6 weeks, studying for an important exam, ships officer. He goes there to rid himself of distractions, video games, and it helps to keep him focused, he says. He sits in the back of the library, which overlooks a small park with a small river. Beautiful view. There's a rotating group of nerdy guys, incel type if I'm being less diplomatic, who hang out all day in this section, and my brother has made casual friends with them. While there's a local contractor who comes by 1 to 2 times daily and does business over the phone in this area, I guess he likes the view as well. Trouble is, he doesn't do it quietly. My brother's trying to study, but keeps getting interrupted by this guy answering his phone, Romano Construction, or, Hey, Mr. Smith, Mike Romano Contractors. Names have been changed. My brother asked him to keep his voice down, which worked the first few times, until Romano got tired of this kid bothering him. My brother switched to asking the front desk to handle it, but they got tired of having to constantly do this, and Romano would just quiet down until the librarian would leave. The nerdy guys told my brother he'd been doing it forever. They were used to it. Finally, my brother spent a week humbly and politely asking this guy to please lower his voice or take his calls out in the lobby. He made it a point to be very polite and stressed that he was trying to study. Romano seemed to sense his weakness and doubled down on the attitude with replies like, Kid, go back to your books, and I told you before, I ain't got time for you. My brother had set up his laptop to record all this. After a week or so of this, he put together a 3 to 4 minute video of their exchanges and posted it on 6 different Facebook groups about our town. He made sure to make it public so it could be shared. It was a hit. A couple hundred comments and dozens of shares. His poor wife was tagged in several of the posts, and several people posted it to his Facebook company page. All those posts were quickly deleted. Best of all, it was discovered that he'd been booted from the local Dunkin' Donuts for this same kind of behavior. Hell, one of the Facebook groups, Jerks of Our Town, made him their profile picture. We're in a smaller city, 40 to 50,000 population, and no shortage of Karens, so poor dude got it with both barrels. For about a week, anyways. My brother told the nerd group what he'd done and to have their phones ready for when he returned. They all loved the video. He was like a rock star for a couple of days. About 4 days later, Romano finally came back to the library. My brother held up his phone, as did 2 to 3 of the others. Romano was hot, but checked himself when he saw he was being filmed by several people. He was not apologetic. He just kept repeating that brother has affected his business and he was just trying to conduct business and needed a place to conduct business, etc., etc., etc. My brother said, I think you owe all of us an apology. Romano looked around at the group and said, okay, I'm sorry. My brother said, thank you, and Romano walked away. After about 20 to 30 feet, Romano turned around, saw my brother watching him, but the phone was on the table, and shot him the finger. He never came back to the library, though. My brother passed all of his exams, some just barely. Oh well, good for you, brother. Too bad jerk Romano couldn't just take the calls in his vehicle. Then he wouldn't have been shamed and kicked out of various businesses in your area. And our second story. Line-cutting Karen gets instant karma. Every morning on my commute, I have to make a left turn at an intersection that's become my own personal circle of hell. The left turn line backs up at least half a mile every single weekday. On a good day, it's a 10-minute wait just to get through the light. On bad days, I can be sitting there for 15 minutes or more, inching forward 1 car length at a time. And of course, every day there are those drivers, you know the ones, the line cutters, the ones who think they're too important to wait like the rest of us. Instead of getting into the left turn lane like normal people, they stay in the through lane until the very last second, then jam their way in at the front, forcing everyone who waited to sit there even longer. Most of us just grit our teeth and let them in because what else can you do without causing an accident? But it's not just annoying, it's downright dangerous. They come in fast, barely check their mirrors, and practically sideswipe people. Early last week, one of those clowns tried to merge into the turn lane right into me. I was already in the lane, clearly visible. I laid on the horn, but this dip crap just kept coming, forcing me to hit the brakes and swerve slightly so they wouldn't clip my fender. I was so irritated I had to literally talk myself down from following them just to yell. 3 days later, karma came for one of them, and I got front row seats. Same intersection, same long line of cars waiting patiently to turn left. I was about halfway through the queue when I saw a mid-sized sedan pull the classic late merge. She shot up the through lane, passed at least 20 cars, then started nosing into the turn lane, except there was already a full-size pickup truck in that space, the one directly behind me. She didn't slow down, she didn't even turn her head, she just kept inching closer until, bam! She clipped the truck's side, knocking her own mirror clean off. It wasn't a huge accident, but it was enough to stop traffic and force everyone to deal with the mess she created. From my rearview mirror, I could see her throw her hands up like she was the victim. Then she whipped out her phone and started recording the truck. That was all I needed to see to know exactly how this was going to go. She was absolutely going to lie about what happened and try to blame the truck driver for hitting her. When I finally got through the light, I pulled over just up the road and walked back. I gave the truck driver my cell number and told him I saw the entire thing, including the fact she never even looked before merging. He was relieved someone was willing to back him up. The next day, his insurance company called me and asked for a statement. I gave them every detail, including how she was looking straight ahead, not checking her mirrors when she made contact. They thanked me and said my statement was exactly what they needed to put fault squarely on the sedan driver. I don't know what happened after that, but I don't need to. My testimony was enough to make sure the guy in the truck didn't get blamed for someone else's reckless behavior. And honestly, it felt like a small victory, not just for him, but for everyone who's ever waited in that stupid turn lane while some entitled driver tried to cheat the system. And our next story. Campers learn that you need a reservation. Many years ago, an old boyfriend and I had reserved a camping spot in California for July 4th. It used to be you only needed reservations for popular campgrounds, but they developed a much-needed reservation system for all campgrounds. Reservations were a must because that year the 4th landed on a Wednesday, making campsites unavailable/reserved for the whole week. The campground belonged to the state and was a walk-in site campground. For those not familiar with walk-in campgrounds, you park your car in a parking lot and walk about a quarter mile to the campsite. Both at the parking lot and the entrance to the sites had signs stating that camping was by reservation only. We get there a little before check-in time and notice a group of people had set up on our side and had left to go hiking or sightseeing. At 4 o'clock, the ranger arrives and we explain that someone is in our site and give him our reservation confirmation. We offer to move to the next closest site, but the ranger said all the sites were reserved. He told us he'll have them move once they return. He also stated that the people didn't pay the day use fee either. To kill time, BF and I go for a hike and have a quick dinner of sandwiches. About 3 hours later, we get back to the campground and the group is very slowly moving their things. There's 4 adults and about 3 kids. The adults are dragging out leaving by taking one thing at a time to their vehicles. To slow things down more, they had a pickup truck specifically for firewood and could only move a log or 2 at a time back to the pickup. You'd think they'd have a wheelbarrow for all that wood. It starts to get dark, so we bring out the tent and sleeping stuff for when the site's ready. We figured we could unpack the rest the next morning. As we were removing our things from the car, a member of the group confronts me. He got my name from the reservation list at the checking spot. He asked why I was so lazy as to not move to a space farther out. BF and the ranger told him to shut up. This only made the man angrier. His wife and his friend started to verbally attack us, telling us if we wanted the space so bad, we should have gotten there before them. They kept insisting we invalidated our reservation by not being there early. Some other campers were watching the whole thing play out and offered us to hang with them and have cold beverages, which we gratefully did. By this time, the ranger had enough of their moaning and threatened to have local law enforcement trespass them. We finally get the picture and move everything out. We go to set up. I put some stuff on the picnic table when I noticed they left a nasty letter to us. In short, they blamed us for ruining their kids' 4th. They won't get to see fireworks, have s'mores, or see the stars at night. Instead, we have to go to a motel. Worse, they threaten confrontation if they see us around the area. I folded the letter up and gave it to the ranger the next day. Why do some people with kids act like they're special and deserve special treatment or to break established rules just because they have kids? Another thing the ranger could have done was give them a ticket for at least a couple $100 for not reserving the spot, and they really would learn their lesson then, hopefully. And our last story. My sister and brother painted my house while I was away. Now my wife is evicting and suing them. My wife and I have always taken a lot of pride in our home. 2 years ago, we spent months and way too much money designing and remodeling our home into something we loved. A deep navy accent wall, crisp white built-ins, refinished hardwood floors, and a custom pantry. It was our dream space, the kind of house you walk into and just feel at peace. And then my sister ruined it. Some background. My sister, Karen, sold her house last year to get out of debt and moved in with us temporarily. I agreed, mostly out of guilt, but my wife and I made it clear that it was our house, our rules. Karen has never been good at living under anyone else's roof. She's used to being queen bee and doesn't take direction well. Then there's my brother, Scott. He's the handy one in the family, and he's always had Karen's back. He doesn't like my wife, calls her bossy, and has barely hidden the fact that he thinks I should stand up to her more. He rarely comes over because they just don't get along. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, my wife and I finally got a chance to take a weekend trip, just the two of us. We left Friday morning and came home Sunday night, and the second I opened the front door, my stomach dropped. Our living room was white, flat, ugly, cheap, builder-grade white. Our gorgeous navy walls, gone. The trim we'd custom painted slathered over in streaky brush marks. The bookcases we had professionally sprayed, caked in thick layers of uneven paint. Even the hardwood had paint splatters on it. Karen came strutting out of the kitchen, grinning. "Surprise! We thought we'd freshen the place up for you. It's so much brighter now." I just stood there in shock. My wife's face went red, then pale, and then she burst into tears. "What the hell, Karen?" I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Scott came out of the hallway, smug as anything. "It was too dark. You're welcome. I even did the bookcases myself. It took forever." My wife wiped her face and just said one word, "Get out." Karen laughed. "Don't be dramatic. I live here too, you know. It was depressing before. This feels bigger and cleaner." That was the last straw. My wife didn't yell. She didn't argue. She just pulled out her phone, called her sister-in-law, who happens to be an absolute shark of a lawyer, and calmly explained what had happened. Then she called the original contractor who had done the living room renovation and asked him to come first thing Monday morning to write up a repair estimate. When we confronted Karen again, she refused to apologize. Instead, she doubled down. "You can't evict me over paint," she snapped. "I've been living here for months. I have tenant rights." My wife looked her dead in the eye and said, "Then I guess you'll be getting your eviction notice through certified mail, and you'll be hearing from my lawyer." By Monday afternoon, Karen had been served a 30-day eviction notice and a civil suit for damages, over $5,000 to strip, sand, and professionally repaint everything they ruined. We even installed indoor security cameras in case they tried to fix anything else on their way out. The fallout's been nuclear. Karen is hysterical, sobbing that this eviction will go on her record and she'll never find a place to rent. She keeps telling me I need to control my wife and stop this. Scott's been blowing up my phone, calling me a traitor and saying Karen was just helping. I told them both the same thing. You painted my house without permission. You destroyed something that wasn't yours. You can get a lawyer if you want, but I'm not paying for it, and I'm not stopping this. Karen has threatened to fight the eviction in court, but with the security cameras now recording 24/7 and a lawyer who lives for cases like this, I doubt she'll get far. My wife's lawyer sister's going after them, not just for civil damages, but is also exploring criminal charges for vandalism. She's even seeking reimbursement for the security system we had to install to protect the house from further improvements. Karen tried to claim she was just trying to be helpful, but the texts we pulled off her phone tell another story. She'd been planning to redo the room for weeks, specifically to make it more her style. As of today, Karen has left. Scott has stopped calling after my wife's sister-in-law sent him a cease and desist for harassment, and my wife and I have scheduled the repairs for next month. We'll be thousands of dollars lighter, but the room will be restored to how we want it, and more importantly, our home will finally be our own again. Your wife's reaction was absolutely the power move here. No yelling, no pointless arguing, just action. Calling in a lawyer and serving the eviction notice wasn't just about the paint. It was about reclaiming your home, your peace, and your authority over your own space. That's exactly how you shut this kind of nonsense down. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.